welcome back to Model Channel Successfully. I'm your host, Go Makitar. Today we have another very successful individual. You know, success is a word that gets thrown around here and there, and a lot of people associate. TJ, what's the best way of saying associate or
Associate?
associate?
I
Associate.
think
I did
either
say it
way.
right. There you go. See a side tip over there. Always be ready to improve. If you're not ready to improve, you're holding your own self back from becoming your best self possible. But getting back to the topic, success is something that a lot of people connected with money. But me personally, I look at success as a personal goal and getting to it, achieving it, and crossing that off of your list. That's a success. And it could be very simple. For example, today I want to go hiking wherever it is, 45 minutes, an hour, and I'm going to get it done. I think to me that's a success in its own way. So welcome to our channel. Today we have a great guest. I want to welcome him in, guys. We have TJ on Modeling Successfully podcast, who is a serial entrepreneur and an artist. The past five, the past 5 years, he has been primarily working in healthcare industry, but have started several other business ventures in other sectors as well. Throughout, without further ado, please welcome JT Meders from Investments and Refreshments. JT, how are you, brother?
Thank
Welcome,
you so
welcome,
much,
welcome.
Core. Thank you so much. This is a pleasure. It's nice to finally talk with you in person. I'm super excited to try and pass on whatever knowledge that I could to your audience, and then maybe also pick up some knowledge myself from you.
Very good, very good. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I'll do my best to actually get us over there. So let's see how we can help each other and our viewers, most importantly, because
Oh,
time
absolutely.
is, time is a currency that unfortunately we cannot get back. Like financially speaking, and if let's say you lost money, you can go and work possibly in a better place, in a better environment where you can earn a lot more than what you received and get it back. But time, once you spend it, it's gone. No
Very
more
well
coming
said.
back. So let's get right into it. um tell me, JT, what is it that got you into investing? And before we you answer that question, I want this is something that I already know about you, but I want you to briefly let the audience know about how you come about investing, and how you come about your Instagram, as well as YouTube, and as well as other social media pages, Investments and Refreshments. How did you come about investing in YouTube?
For sure. So, as far as YouTube goes, I kind of grew up on YouTube. It's always been a platform that I appreciate. It feels like creators can be held accountable, and a lot of creators that try and come off as knowing more than they actually do, or they spread lies to their audience, they are called out upon. And it's interesting to see a living, breathing environment where people can actually be held accountable. Also, you can learn so much on YouTube. It's a great resource to try and gain knowledge. So it's a great place, and I've always wanted to start a channel. And finally, I felt like I had a good enough idea to kind of test the waters, and I've really enjoyed myself. I'm going to continue making videos, and I hope that some of what I say can be helpful. Now, as far as investing goes, I've gotten into investing in the past few years, since about 2017, 2018. I had started learning about it, learning about how the stock market is considered the world's greatest wealth generator. And I wanted to get involved and kind of start trying to build some wealth for myself. And I try and do that by doing research, doing fundamental analysis, technical analysis on several different stocks and companies that I would be interested in getting involved with. Sometimes that could be short term, sometimes that could be long term. It's all case by case. But I've very much enjoyed doing that. It's very fun, and it's also exciting whenever things go the way that your thesis would suggest. And I've very much enjoyed investing in the stock market, investing in cryptocurrencies. Uh, I haven't really dabbled too much in real estate right now. We can get into that in a little bit, but that's that's something I'm very interested in getting involved with. Right now, I'm very skeptical about getting involved. It's red hot, and that always kind of scares me a bit. So, but we can talk about that more in detail in a little bit. Instagram, I've always enjoyed Instagram. It feels like people can be their real self. They can be transparent, and I've always enjoyed being able to just have a snapshot, like a window into someone's life and see exactly what they're doing, exactly what they're interested in. And I think it's a great way to connect with your audience and build a community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very, very good answer. Thank you so much for that, JT. And you touched up on multiple topics that I personally have a interest in and invested in. Like, for example, the topics that we can talk about: long term and short term, and overall
Oh yeah.
crypto and stocks and real estate. That those are right around the my actually peak interests and what I spend most of my time on, to be honest, and day in and day out. So
Awesome.
let's take one at a time. Do you actually mentioned this researching topics as and finding out and figuring out, then you actually did research. That's how you found out stock market is one of the greatest wealth generators that there
Oh yeah.
is available for the general masses. Can we talk about that a little? As far as I don't want to talk about the general stock market yet, we will get there, but what I want to talk about is the research. When you said you do research, a lot of people say they do research. I personally do a lot of research too, but I want to know, and I want our viewers to know, maybe a lot of people don't know where to start.
Yeah.
How does JT go about doing a research on a new topic? Like, what avenues do you take?
That's a really great question. Usually, I'll start just as simple as where I'm sure everyone else would, and that's with a Google search. I find the ticker symbol for whatever I want to research, and I plug that into Google, and I'll start there, look at whatever news is related to the topic. That could give you some more insight, some more context into why something is performing the way that it is. And then to get that technical analysis, a lot of times I'll look at screeners. I'll build up lists on Finviz, on bar charts, and I'll also just use the my preferred uh, brokerage, which is Webull. They have a great desktop application that you can start building charts and drawing lines, drawing analysis yourself, and it's really easy to use. Then once you do that piece, then you analyze the financials of the company. You see how they're doing, if they're potentially profitable. You look at you try and do as much
Like their
research as you
balance
can.
sheets and stuff?
Exactly. Look at their if they have a published blog as well that might give you some more news that the mainstream media isn't already talking about. Look at their
Mhm,
website. Do simple things like that. Even some non-traditional ways of doing research on a company. Looking at
mhm,
Google Street View, looking at their headquarters. If it looks shady, then that might give you an idea. Maybe it is shady. I don't know.
mhm. What a
Those sorts of
good
things.
point. Google Street View. What a great point.
Yeah, so that's just a non-traditional way of doing it. You might want to look at their About Us page on their website, look at their board, see their LinkedIn pages. That's another non-traditional way to look at. And again, these are ways to look at longer term investments. If you're just looking to swing trade something, there are times that just doing technical analysis can be good enough to learn
Mhm,
about the trends and the movements that are happening
mhm.
with a security. So it's there are a lot of ways to look at it, and sometimes it just comes down to that specific case.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that answer. And again, that answer was just packed with a lot of great other topics that I want to dive into also. So
Absolutely.
so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If there's a company, for example, that you want to do research on, go on their website, check it out, read their about page, contact them if you have any questions, see how their customer service handles it, see how their customer service answers the phone, read their balance sheets if it's available for public. Obviously, if you're interested in the company, I'm guessing you want to buy the stocks, hence the it should be
Yes.
it has to be available. But if it's a company that is a privately owned company, then if you're interested in buying it, in that case, what you need to do is you need to provide your LOI, letter of intent, to the people selling the business, the private individual selling the business. The letter of intent will show your funding availability, who you are, and everything. And this gives a peace of mind to the business owner that is selling their business, that whoever is coming to check out their numbers, their paperwork is so and so. So those are the two ways you can go about buying
Yeah.
a publicly traded company stock or private company. Very
Absolutely, and
nice.
there are platforms that specialize in the ability to trade, private shares in a company as well. And a
Oh,
lot of these platforms, there's a platform called Equities in that some people might be interested in looking into, and that's something that you can look into investing in a company, possibly pre-IPO, while they're still not available to the general public. And a lot of times they will have requirements such as an account balance over $100,000, things like that. So it's just important to also do your research into what is required to be able to invest in a company that isn't already public. And you can see if a company is publicly traded by just even doing a Wikipedia search for that company, and it'll list whether the company is public, private, etc.
very well, very well. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, JT. And guys, as you know, JT is from refreshments and investments, the other way around. Apologies, JT.
No
Investments
worries,
and
no worries at all.
refreshments. So here is where I'm going to have JT take over and let you guys know where the name investments and refreshment comes from. And then we're going to go to David Centeno's question because that's a great one. Go ahead, JT. Take it over, please. How did you
So
come by the name investments and refreshments?
So I was really enjoying, hanging out with my friends and drinking a few beers, talking about stocks, talking about crypto, and I was always thinking, like, wouldn't it be just great if financial education was more accessible. It felt more easy to digest. A lot of times people can come off as like gatekeepers of knowledge who try and represent themselves as just really straightforward um, and kind of intellectuals. I wanted to present it in a way that's fun, like hanging out with your friends, having a beer, and talking about stocks. So that's
That's
that's the
awesome.
goal. And then I came
Cheers
up with
right
the
there.
name. Cheers, cheers. Yeah, and
There
here
you go.
I'll go ahead and open up mine
Oh,
on
awesome.
so that we
Yours
can
is
get
not
this
open. I'm
shot.
way ahead of schedule. Sorry. I got a dry mouth. I had to quench my thirst.
No, no, no worries, no worries. This thing, just looking at the can, it has me thirsty. This thing looks great.
Hazy little thing.
Yeah, hazy
Hazy
little
IPA.
thing. This
I
is an
like it.
IPA from the Sierra Nevada Brewing Company. Hazy IPA, if people don't know, is it's the same thing as like a New England IPA or a juicy IPA. It's got tropical and juicy flavors, so it kind of tones down that bitterness that you normally get from an IPA.
That's awesome. I actually like it a lot. It does have that bitterness undertone at the end. It's like eating the seed of the. I don't know if you've ate the seed of the apricot, but there are apricots that have sweet seeds when you break the hard shell of the seed inside, and then there are apricots who have a little bitter taste to it. This reminds me of the bitter apricot seed, and I've
Mm.
noticed actually Trader Joe's started putting them on certain desserts. It's like shaved bitter apricot seed, like an
Huh,
actual seed on top of a dessert,
that's
and it gives a
fascinating.
It is, and it gives a similar aftertaste when you eat it. So it's really nice. They're
I
getting
wonder
it
if this
into
has
food as
some
well.
apricot in there. That's an interesting note that you're
That
picking up there.
Yeah, it's the apricot's seed. When
Hmm.
you have the seed and then you break the hard shell, inside there is another seed.
Gotcha.
That's the one I'm talking about. I grew up doing that, so that's why
Gotcha.
I can. My taste palette is on point with that.
Nice. Awesome. Well,
All
yeah,
right,
so that's
I
that's where I
like
came
that.
across the name, and I also have another series on my channel called Quick Sips, where instead of giving the full beer review, which we're going to do in this interview,
Hmm.
I just talk about something while I'm drinking, and it doesn't have to be a beer. It can be a tea. It can be whatever I'm drinking, and I don't really review it. I'm just, drinking and talking about stocks, and it's a
Hmm.
lot less editing. It's a lot less information most times. A lot of times, if I want to talk about something, I'll do a full investments and refreshments video, and it's more informative. And then a quick sip is more generally an update where I just kind of talk about news that is related to the topic.
Very well, very well. Let's get to David Centenos. David, thank you so much for being here. David was a guest to our podcast a few episodes ago. Thank you so much for your time, David. And you have a really great question. David is asking to JT, hey, Gore, what does JT make of Gary Vaynerchuk's push towards MetaMask and his followers purchasing Ethereum? And David, is he telling his followers to purchase Ethereum? I heard he's telling his followers to get
Oh, am
ready
I?
to purchase his. Actually, Gary Vee is launching on May 5th, 5/5/21. So next month, 5/5, he's launching his own ETF, I believe. Are you
Hmm.
familiar with ETFs?
I am. I am. I recommend
If
that people look into ETFs. It's a,
Please, if you could tell
yeah.
us more about that, and then let's refer to David's question and then get back to ETFs.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's first talk about I do follow Gary Vee. I think that he's an inspiration. He's a hustler for sure.
Mhm.
For anyone who's a an entrepreneur, you guys should check out Gary Vee if you haven't already heard of him. I actually do use MetaMask myself for certain projects. I made a video about Decentraland, and
Mm,
you use MetaMask to connect to your Decentraland. Also, you would use MetaMask to connect to several different NFT platforms. So it is definitely useful if you want to invest in NFTs.
mm.
Also, Ethereum is a great cryptocurrency. It's probably going to, in my opinion, there's a good chance that it's going to overtake Bitcoin at some point as far as mass
Really?
adoption goes. Oh, definitely.
I would
There's
love
so
that.
many
I'm
more.
holding a lot of Ether. I would love that. I've been holding since 4.5 years ago.
The great thing about Ethereum is the potential for self-destruction, for halving, for all of these different things, and also the use cases. A lot of NFTs are built on the Ethereum network, and as a blockchain technology with Ethereum 2 coming up,
Mm,
it's going to become so much more efficient, so much easier to use, and cheaper to use than most other cryptocurrencies.
understood. Very good. And can you real quick, if you could touch up on Ethereum 2, and what is the difference between the current version Ethereum platform and Ethereum 2? What is the really big major difference that people don't understand or maybe don't know about?
Gotcha. So it's my understanding that the biggest difference between Ethereum and Ethereum 2.0 is that Ethereum 2.0 is going to be a proof of stake model versus the proof of work model. So Ethereum works on something called proof of work, which most other cryptocurrencies work on. And there are some cryptocurrencies that claim to be proof of stake, but they work a little bit differently than what Ethereum is going to do with proof of stake. Proof of work means that your machine has to do several very complex algorithms to prove that this is the machine that your cryptocurrency works on and it is your cryptocurrency. That's how it proves
Mm,
that you are the true owner of that cryptocurrency based on the ledger.
mm,
But proof of stake works a little bit differently. It works more as like a digital signature. So it takes like it's a it's exponentially faster, and
Hmm.
also it's a lot less energy intensive. So a lot of
I
people's
see.
huge concerns, and they're very well founded concerns, is that cryptocurrency is so energy consuming.
Hmm.
So like Bitcoin itself, it consumes
You're
the same
talking
amount of
about
energy
mining, correct?
just spending. So the amount of energy that it takes to every transaction, whether you're buying Ethereum, whether you're selling Ethereum, whether you're spending Ethereum on an NFT, whether you're minting an NFT, all of these are transactions that happen that take energy through the proof of work model. So
I see.
you have to go through the proof of work in every single transaction. So once this changes to the proof of stake model, then it's going to be a lot faster, it's going to use less energy, and it's going to be cheaper, which is important.
Understood. That actually makes clear sense, and thank you so much for that detailed explanation. It's really you made it as if you're explaining it to a person with who is very young, let's just say. So, and that's the best way of explaining. Yes, that's the. If you can explain it to a minor, that means you
Mm.
have a very clear understanding of the topic you're talking about. If a person is not able to explain something to a minor, that means they don't really understand the topic well. It's a proven fact. Definitely it's a proven fact. It's like that. So for that, JT, I really thank you. And do you have anything to add to David's question? He has a following question as well. If we can refer to the following question, he says,
Gotcha.
my fear is attaching my bank accounts to MetaMask and the exposure to hackers. So, actually, there's another question. This is the third one. So, it starts from here. This is the beginning of the question. He has been encouraging the Ether purchase, but says he will be doing a giveaway if you can't afford the Ether. Oh,
Oh,
that's nice of
gotcha.
him. So,
Yeah, that's great.
my fear is attaching my bank account to MetaMask and the exposure to hackers. JT, I'm not really quite clear, and I'm pretty sure there are people in the audience or the future viewers that are watching this, which we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And this is the perfect time to let you guys know to smash that like button. Be sure to give it a like if you guys have not, and share it out. The more you like it, the more you share it out, the more people get to actually hear this content, possibly learn a thing or two, and actually save them a lot of money that they were possibly thinking of misinvesting. So all those likes and the shares really mean a lot. So thank you so much if you have already liked and shared, and thank you if you're going to like it and share it. Thank you. So let's get back to the topic. Can we talk about the MetaMask a bit
Yeah.
more into it, because I'm not really quite clear on that.
Yeah, for sure. So MetaMask is a wallet that's compatible with, for instance, OpenSea, which is a platform where you can buy and sell NFTs. It's also compatible with CryptoKitties. It's compatible with Decentraland. It's compatible with a lot of different platforms where you can buy and sell or utilize your cryptocurrencies.
Mm.
I use MetaMask myself. I haven't directly connected my bank account to it. What I have sent cryptocurrency from my preferred exchanges to my MetaMask wallet, so it is kind of an indirect connection. But the exchange that I'm talking about is Coinbase. So I've sent Ethereum from my
I
Coinbase.
just made a Coinbase and a
Nice.
question mark next to it. I swear. So I could ask you that actually. Go ahead, please.
Oh,
Sorry.
I'm excited to talk about Coinbase
Awesome.
as a stock and also as a platform for buying cryptocurrency. But yeah, I've bought Ethereum on Coinbase since 2018 as well.
Hey, around the
And
same time.
nice, nice. Yeah. So I think that it's a great platform, and I just send that to my MetaMask wallet, so I haven't connected it directly to my bank account. If there are some controversies currently about MetaMask with hackers, uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not as informed on that situation, but I've used MetaMask myself. It's really easy to use. You just you save um, your security phrase, and then you can recover your wallet. You can sign back in, etc. Again, anything with cryptocurrency wallets, as long as you save your private key,
Hmm.
generally, I would say that you're pretty safe. Hackers with cryptocurrency, that's the reason why the blockchain is so incredible, is because, if they're going to hack into something, they're going to have to hack into each person's wallet individually. Whereas previously, if somebody hacked into a bank, then they that hacked into a bank's database, then they would have access to everyone that
Of course.
utilizes the bank. Blockchain's great because each person has their own private ledger, so you have to hack into each person individually.
Right. Very well, very well. And you touched up on again multiple topics that I personally want to talk about. And one of them, David, thank you so much for hitting that thumbs up button. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Shout out to you, David Centeno. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
David.
one thing I would recommend, David, which I'm personally exercising also, and David, we don't, I don't. Recommend something I personally don't believe in or have a hard wallet. Look into getting a hard wallet, and if and transfer it wherever you're buying into your hard wallet and keep it over there, and that's the safest way for hackers not get to. That's what I would recommend as far as that goes. And just to confirm, JT, MetaMask is basically same as Coinbase, correct? They do the same thing. It's another platform that you can.
MetaMask is just like a wallet that you can hold
Oh, it's just a wallet.
Yes, it's a
Okay,
MetaMask wallet, so you can send from an exchange into that wallet, and then that wallet connects to platforms that it's compatible with.
mm,
So a lot of platforms, like they'll have a few different wallets, but MetaMask is a very common one that platforms will be compatible with to be able to utilize your cryptocurrency that you're holding.
understood. They don't have their own exchange you can trade or buy and sell on.
They might be compatible with an in-house exchange.
Okay,
I'm not quite sure. You might be able to connect your bank account to purchase certain cryptocurrencies, like maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, very common ones. But as far as I've used them for, it's just for holding my cryptocurrencies,
understood, understood.
specifically
Very well.
Ethereum.
Very well. Ethereum. Let's talk a bit more Ethereum before we move forward. What is Ethereum? And I'm 6 years old and I'm asking you, Uncle JT, what is Ethereum? So, if
Okay,
you, the
so
most basic way you can explain Ethereum,
definitely.
please.
So I'll say Ethereum is similar to any type of currency. So you say you have a dollar. One ether is it holds the same amount whenever it's created as like a dollar, and
Hmm.
it can be spent in the same way. But Ethereum versus actually having a dollar, they're two very different things, and you hold them in very different ways,
Hmm.
and they can be utilized differently. So a dollar will always be a dollar, and you can print more of it. There's an unlimited supply. So you're always having to wonder what could happen if too many dollars are printed.
Hmm.
That's whenever you start hitting inflation and
It
things can
loses its
start to get
value.
ugly. Also, it's centralized, so it's controlled by a government. You're always going to be taxed on any dollar that you spend,
It's
and
actually
you're also
controlled
going
by
to be
the
taxed.
private company. No, the Federal Reserve is privately owned company. Is that correct? I believe it is.
Well, most currencies and the dollar, the Federal Reserve, maybe it could be privately held.
It's
I'm not
privately.
entirely sure. That's
It's
interesting.
privately. Isn't that funny? The whoever controls the money is privately
That's
owned company.
fascinating.
Yes,
But
Federal
it just
Reserve.
bothers me that there is a body, whether it's a privately held company or a government that is
Mhm.
controlling the
Which
currency,
makes it centralized.
which makes it centralized. So that's why Ethereum is considered a decentralized currency, because any actions that happen with Ethereum are controlled by Ethereum's users. So the people that purchase Ethereum use Ethereum as a currency. It's not completely anonymous. People can figure out who owns what wallets, especially if they do enough digging, enough research. So like the government is able to find out purchases that you make, or so
Mhm.
don't think that you can get away with like liquidating your Ethereum without having to pay taxes, because that will not be the case.
And
But
IRS is on it too already.
the IRS is on it. They are going to find you if you're trying to get out of paying taxes and clean your money by
Mhm.
using Ethereum. But like I would say, Ethereum can be used as a hedge against inflation, and that's what a lot of cryptocurrencies are used for. But Ethereum is different from most other cryptocurrencies because of their focus on technological advancements and making their cryptocurrency as efficient as possible. And in my opinion, they're undervalued right now. I mean, they're 7 years younger than Bitcoin. So imagine where they could be 7 years from now. Uh, it's it's
That's a big factor. People
it's a
forget
big
about
factor.
that.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
definitely. Bitcoin definitely had a lot more time shelf life, which means we have a lot more analytics and data on Bitcoin to know its behavior and character versus someone who we met not so long ago. To put Ether and Bitcoin
Oh yeah.
coming into our lives, that's very true. And with my very basic and lack of understanding of calculations, I believe ethers is undervalued at the moment, in my opinion. I believe
Oh,
ethers
absolutely.
true value is anywhere from 5 to 6,500, 5,000 to 6,500. I would say is the fair value if you compare it to Bitcoin, in my lack of educated
I would
opinion.
agree with you. I think that actually Ethereum in the next 5 or 10 years, you could see Ethereum actually go up exponentially. It could go up parabolically, and especially once Ethereum 2.0 comes out, and once proof of stake is initiated efficiently, you're going to see that really affect what happens. And anytime that you have a halving, where you half the number of Ethereum that exist,
Hmm.
you're going to see the overall circulating supply actually, or the overall outstanding supply diminish. And it's a fascinating thing that happens, that creates this. um, it lowers the number of Ethereum that actually exist, that's what makes it actually deflationary
Yes,
versus inflation.
yes, yes, yes. You said such a great thing right there. The number, currently, just a basic example, and this is not my information. I'm not gonna take credit for the information I'm about to say. I've got this. I forgot the gentleman's name, but from YouTube again, a very smart individual. They
David
basically
Centeno?
David Centeno could be very well him, definitely. And what they said is PayPal started accepting cryptocurrencies where you can buy and sell cryptos on PayPal and you can buy things off of PayPal. This is not a news. This is a few months ago. But just to give an example, PayPal has about 300 to 350 million, 350 million, yes, 350 million subscribers, users. And there
Mhm.
is about how much ether out there, JT? 120 million,
Let me find out. I'll give you the
116.
exact number in a second. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I believe it's less than half of what PayPal's uh, users are. So in other words, if one PayPal user decides to buy Ether right now, they cannot, because that much Ether doesn't exist. So that right there alone raises the Ethereum value, because you know what I mean.
Yes. Right now it's at 100 million.
100 million. See, PayPal has about 350 million users. So if each one of PayPal's users wants to buy Ether right now, they cannot.
Yeah,
It price is gonna go up.
absolutely.
So that's just one example
Well,
from
and
one
see, the thing
company.
is, everyone's talking about NFTs right now. People aren't
Hmm.
buying NFTs. They're not minting NFTs with Bitcoin.
Mm.
It's happening with Ethereum. So, as people are buying NBA Top Shots, as people are buying crypto artwork, it's happening with Ethereum. So, the more that this becomes a popular idea and concept, it's just going to increase the popularity of Ethereum and the value of Ethereum, which is undervalued in my opinion. It's going to continue to rise. Okay, so to David's point, so he's asking here,
Yes.
banks are federally insured, but ETH is not. Huge exposure for loss. Also, I don't want to get caught up in FOMO. I completely, I could see where he's coming from. To be honest, FOMO is a huge deal.
And I'm so sorry to interrupt. For those of you listening, FOMO stands for missing out. Go ahead, please.
Absolutely. So the fear of missing out, that can really cloud your judgment as an investor. So you want to get involved with something so that you can make money because you're seeing other people make money. And it's dangerous to start thinking that way without doing enough research and understanding what you are investing in. And it's for Ethereum specifically, that's something that I've done a lot of research into. And I believe that as far as if you do see inflation with the dollar, the reason why hedging with a cryptocurrency, some people hedge with precious metals. I don't do that personally. I think that cryptocurrency is a healthier way to hedge against the inflation of fiat currency. Because I think that as far as precious metals go, I think that the price of gold and silver at all-time highs right now are, I believe personally that they're overpriced. And with cryptocurrency, there are so many more use cases than with silver or gold that it's hard for me to shift to precious metals, which again I believe are overpriced for what they are right now. Especially as we shift more and more into an internet-driven world.
Yes. Convenience becomes a big thing, and with just special metals, it's just not convenient to own. Let's say a decent sized investor, let's say $1 million worth of gold. Where are you gonna? It's easier to hold $1 million of any cryptocurrency than $1 million worth of any precious metal.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? As far as the risks go, forgetting where you put it, being stolen, this, that. Yes, of course, it can get hacked too. But versus the risks of having it in a physical form, I think it's a lot higher.
Your house can get broken into, and people can find your gold. You're actually more at risk that somebody breaks into your house than somebody breaks into your crypto wallet, because they have to break into each person's wallet individually, figure out their private key, which is a long string of characters. You're more at risk by holding precious metal than holding cryptocurrency.
Very good. And David is saying there is no way that Coinbase currency won't end up government / privately controlled. What do you think about that versus, I feel like the David's question versus US dollar digital currency?
The US dollar digital currency is going to feel the same inflation that you would feel with the dollar. So I'm not really into anything that's tethered to the dollar. I remember whenever USDT came out years ago, and again I was like, this is counterintuitive to what cryptocurrency is. It's a hedge against inflation, but something tethered to the dollar is going to feel that same inflation that the dollar experiences. There's no way that Coinbase currency won't end up government and privately controlled. I agree. It already is. I mean, it's public now. They've gone through so many regulations. Yep. Coinbase only offers 25 different cryptocurrencies now at this point. Binance, for example, which is not publicly traded, offers 150. And there are other exchanges that offer more than that. And I personally would be using Binance as my primary exchange, but I live in Texas, and Texas doesn't allow Binance as a cryptocurrency exchange. So I'm not technically allowed to use Binance. So I use Coinbase primarily just to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then I can use Ethereum on other exchanges and platforms to transact between other cryptocurrencies. But to your point, yes, it is already regulated by the government as a
Yep.
publicly traded company.
Yep, IRS is on it. So anything you have over there, IRS knows about it. Anytime you gain and you sell, you don't pay taxes. That's considered your income, and you have to
Yes.
pay tax on your income to Uncle Sam.
Yep.
You know that's given. JT, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think about altcoins, alternative coins from aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum? What do you think about the altcoins
Altcoins
in
are
general?
extremely speculative. You have to be careful with altcoins. They're a quick way to be able to make 600 times, 700 times your money if you get in early enough.
Hmm.
A lot of times it's also a way to lose all of your money really quickly. It's always a
Right.
gamble. So you have to look at it like if you're going to invest in an altcoin, you want to first of all research it. But then once you invest, you need to consider that money gone. So only put money into an altcoin that you are willing to lose. So for example, Dogecoin, Dogecoin,
To the
one of
moon.
the original like meme altcoins.
Yeah.
I remember
It was made
years
as a
ago.
joke.
It was made as a joke in 2013,
Yep.
and was created by a couple engineers, and they just thought that it was funny. And it's, for a while it just tanked, and it just stayed level at like 0.0002 cents, something like that. And eventually, once the whole meme hype, and I think GameStop was a catalyst for Dogecoin because people consider GameStop
Mm.
kind of a meme, especially with Wall Street bets. Anything that goes, really popular on Wall Street bets
I like where
is
your head
considered.
is, JT. I like where you're paying attention. I see how you made that connection, and I agree with the GameStop
It's
and
it's
Dogecoin.
considered a meme stonk, is what they
Mm.
would call
Right,
like AMC,
STONK.
GameStop. Yes, and so once those kind of became talked about in the media and they gained some notoriety, then I think a lot of people's heads went, well, what's next? What's funnier than GameStop going off? And then you see Elon Musk start tweeting about Dogecoin.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think he also saw the writing on the wall, and he thought of Dogecoin as an approachable cryptocurrency. I've made several videos about Dogecoin already, talking about how it's approachable, and that's part of
Tell our
why.
viewers where they can watch those videos real quick before you carry on, please.
Yeah, so you guys can tune into my YouTube channel. It's Investments and Refreshments. And if you just type in Investments and Refreshments space Doge, those videos should pop up. The first video that I made is more informative. The next two are more updates from whenever I made that first video. In the first video, basically what I said was it's interesting because you will know whenever Dogecoin is about to pop,
Mm.
and it's any time that Elon Musk tweets about it. So if you see Elon Musk tweet something that has Doge in the tweet, and he did it a lot, you can see immediately Dogecoin start to spike. So if you just set your Twitter notifications for whenever Elon Musk tweets about Doge, then as soon as you get that notification, then you just jump over into Robinhood or wherever you'd prefer to purchase Dogecoin, and you just buy some Dogecoin. Robinhood specifically is something you want to be careful with because you don't technically own Doge. You don't technically own any of the cryptocurrencies that you buy on Robinhood. Robinhood owns them, so you can't actually move them from
Ah,
your Robinhood wallet into a different wallet because
really?
Robinhood owns the cryptocurrencies that you buy on Robinhood. Yes.
Versus
So
Webull?
that's a good question. I don't buy cryptocurrencies on Webull.
Hmm.
That's a good question though. I'm not exactly sure how Webull handles that. But with Robinhood, for it's a fact that you don't
Oh,
technically own the cryptocurrencies that you purchase on Robinhood.
wow.
They
And
do.
I can't believe that concept worked, JT. So it's like saying, come, people buy cryptocurrency off of platforms, but you're going to buy it, we're going to own it under
Yes,
your name.
that's exactly how it works. And you can see that
Hmm.
because if you look at the massive whale, I don't know if you remember, people were talking about the massive Dogecoin whale wallet, where there
No.
was a whale that owned like $3 billion worth of Dogecoin, and no one really knew who it was. Some people were speculating that it was Elon Musk because they looked at.
Maybe it was Satoshi Nakamoto.
Oh yeah, it was Satoshi Nakamoto for sure. It was they looked at like one of the hash characters, and it looked like it had Elon Musk's birthday in there. I was like, whenever I heard that, I was like, okay, you guys are digging for some stuff that it just doesn't
Yes,
make any
sounds
sense. You
like a
guys are just,
rabbit hole to me.
yeah, it sounds like a rabbit hole, like a weird conspiracy theory. I was like, I don't think it's actually Elon Musk, but it turns out that it was actually Robinhood. So they bought massive amounts of Dogecoin so that people that were using the platform whenever they started allowing people to buy cryptocurrencies on Robinhood, they would have a supply so that people could buy from Robinhood. But Robinhood still technically owned the cryptocurrency. You would just gain control of it. So they wouldn't be able to sell it at any time. You would be holding on to it. You just can't take that out of your Robinhood account. You can't withdraw that at any time.
Understood.
Yeah.
Very
So
well.
it's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. But through talking about Dogecoin in my videos, like I said, anytime Elon Musk talks about it, you can see Dogecoin start to go up. And the reason why it's accessible is because it doesn't have a million different use cases. It's very simple. It's a coin with the Shiba Inu on it, and that's all that it is. There aren't a lot of ways that you can even utilize it, but it's just purchasing a
So
meme,
in other
purchasing a
words,
piece of
there
a
is
meme.
no other value to it but the people believing. The second people stop believing
Yep,
in it, there's nothing holding it back like the US dollar.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
had to. Well, Nixon did us real well in 1971, taking us off of the gold standard. So there's that.
Yeah.
But all right, moving forward, David has another awesome question. And David, don't you worry. Please do not apologize for the awesome questions. You're actually what you're doing is encouraging us because your questions give us energy to push it. It's really,
Absolutely.
really, really not that we need a push. We really enjoy the topic, but your question just makes us feel like it's three of us over here. It's awesome. So David is asking, how can you value Ether with flat dollars when
Yes.
flat dollars have no intrinsic value?
That's a great question. A lot of times you're able to see how inflation is going to affect fiat currency prior to it actually having that impact. And with Ethereum, the value of Ethereum to the dollar right now actually will be going up as the dollar experiences inflation. As the dollar becomes less valuable, it can still have that same ratio of current dollar to Ethereum, but as inflation takes hold of the dollar, that ratio of the dollar to Ethereum will actually have an upward trajectory
Ah,
because the value of the dollar goes down, but the value of Ethereum with the all pre-specified supply of Ethereum, it's just that's how it works. So the dollar, whenever it experiences inflation, technically that correlation to Ethereum, it actually works in the Ethereum holder's favor.
right. I've noticed that too. A lot of times when the, let's say, S&P 500 dips, cryptos rise. They get bullish.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too, that trend. That's really good. Really good. And a follow-up question to David is, JT, I'm putting my money in drinking water and non-ether and not ether? Question mark. What are your thoughts?
So
Could you
okay, I could see what he's saying. So
yeah,
I know
like
Michael
aqua.
Michael Burry talked about how he's investing in water,
Yes.
um, and
Aqua pays good dividends as well.
I could see that. I'm not going to say whether or not you should or shouldn't do that. You've done your research and you've made your decision. I like Ethereum. I understand your idea to invest in drinking water. Drinking water, in my opinion, through doing some level of research, it can be kind of a risk. because myself, I use a Brita filter at home, and I've gotten off of bottled waters, and I think that's the trend now, is to move towards using a Brita filter or a filtration of some sort. So you're not going to be buying drinking water from these companies that provide it to you, but
in
I mean
bottled version, right?
the bottled version of drinking water.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
following. That's a good point.
it could make sense, and I might have to do more research to understand more about the specific drinking water company that you're speaking about. You can look at the dividend and do a technical analysis, see where the stock, or see where the chart is taking you over the past year, the past 5 years, and look and make sure that the dividend is still working out in your favor.
And what would that number be as far as favorable, in
You would
your
want
opinion?
that to be about 10% per year. Otherwise, you could just invest in the S&P 500 index fund and get that 10% annually. So if
Oh,
you're not hitting
I
that,
see. I
so if
see.
you're not hitting that with the dividend plus the price
Capital
movement
gains.
per share, then you might as well just invest in the S&P 500 index fund.
Right. It'll be much smarter move than picking it. Makes sense.
Now
Makes
the
sense.
dividend, like you're saying, the qualified dividends are great because you can take advantage of that long-term capital gains tax versus paying your uh, your regular income tax or the short-term capital gains tax. So it's something to consider as well whenever you're investing in a stock. That's the great thing about dividend investing, is that you can actually take the dividend, and you would only be paying that long-term capital gains rate, which is great if it's a qualified dividend.
Very well. And the following thought David had about investing in ether versus drinking water was: freshwater supplies are shrinking and populations are rising. It is the investment for the long run. It's a good point. That's a very
That's a good
actually
point. That's a very
valid
good
point.
point. I think that it's that's a very fair point. In long term, that could definitely work out, especially as populations continue to rise and we continue to run low on fresh water supplies. So, my recommendation always to my audience is to do your own research and make a decision for yourself. Don't take
Right.
what I say as financial advice. I just give my opinions while I drink a beer. So, it's just always up to you to do your own research. I like that. I'm gonna continue doing more research into fresh water myself, and just into drinking water myself, and get an idea as to whether I think that it's a good long-term investment for me.
Mhm.
I like to, for a long-term investment, think about something where 5-10 years down the line, I could see a 20 times or 30 times return on my investment.
Hmm.
So a lot of times I'll look at a company's potential down the road, their innovative strategies, and try and get an idea as to they're trying to poise themselves to present what they're bringing to the market in a way that it's going to reshape the way that people think about something. Like, for example, the way that Tesla did with electric cars.
Mhm.
People didn't think of electric vehicles as um, even
Viable option.
a viable option
Mhm.
just 5 or 6 years ago. Think about it. 4 years ago,
This is
three
true.
years ago, Kathy Wood was talking about how she thinks that Tesla's share price is going to $4,000, and people laughed her out of their studios. They said she's out of her mind. Now, adjusted for the stock splits, it would be there. She was
Mm.
absolutely right. And that's what I try to do, is try and see the potential value of a company 5-10 years down the road. That's what I try and do for a long-term investment. For a short-term investment, I look at more of the technicals and see the price action of what's happening with the given stock. But that's a good idea, actually. I might have to look into that long term. Look at the potential value there. See if there's some undervalued uh, companies that are providing that
That's
are
awesome.
providing drinking water.
That's awesome. Yes, and my family member actually personally believes in water a lot, and they invest in water, specifically aqua stock. It pays dividend as well. That's why I did mention that.
You know what that
And
dividend is? Let me
uh-huh.
let me look into that right now live.
Yeah,
Let me get my
that'll be
live
really.
opinion.
Yes, I believe it's about 2%, nothing crazy, which is
That's
fair,
good. That's
right?
fair for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially,
So.
if it's a stable dividend that you can rely
Hmm.
on, because sometimes you can experience, there are resources that you can utilize that will tell you if this dividend is stable and
Hmm.
secure, because you have situations where you'll have a surprise where a company might just say, hey, we can't pay a dividend this quarter, and you just didn't see it coming and you didn't prepare for that. So
Absolutely.
you want to make sure that it's stable and secure, which is great. So you never
Hmm.
want to dividend chase, like I say. I've told my audience that dividend chasing can be dangerous because you see that, you're being offered an insane dividend amount, like 7, 8%, but the underlying stock might just be complete garbage. So you
Right.
have to be careful there.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. And while you're looking that up, we actually have a question from one of our fans for you, JT. And I wanted to ask you this question we received, from one of our viewers. They said, "I'm a student," and I quote, "I'm a student in my last year, and I'm having a graduation project about finding finance problems and how to solve it. And I'm so confused about picking the problem because I don't have enough experience. Could you please help? Thanks in advance." So,
Right.
so they basically have to find the finance problem and how to solve it. And she's confused about how to go about it. Is there any finance problem off the top of your head you can think that, and a solution for it? You can tell the problem and a solution for it.
Understood. So a problem that I could think of, and I'm sure many people can relate to this, is you find yourself in an overwhelming amount of debt. You find yourself swamped by debt. You feel like you'll never be able to pay it off based on having student loans, having paid for your car, paying your mortgage, all of these things, and you feel like you're just in an insurmountable amount of debt.
Hmm.
I would say in a lot of cases, the first step would be identifying what has gotten you into this position. Because a lot of times it's not going to be your student loans, it's not going to be your car payment, your house payment. Many times you're in debt due to a bad habit of some sort. I
Hmm.
have many, many friends and family members who have found themselves in a lot of debt due to a bad habit that they have. And I don't ever want to come across as better than. And I think that this is something that some of the top financial advisors, such as Dave Ramsey, he falls
Hmm.
into a category of making people feel bad for finding themselves in debt. And I don't want to come across that way
I see
as
why
like
you're
I'm more
saying it.
intellectual than they are, because
Hmm.
it's so easy to find yourself in that situation and it's so normal. So I want people to first recognize they're in a situation that is normal. It's normal to find yourself in this very difficult predicament.
Hmm.
But first we need to recognize what has gotten us here. Once we do that, the next step is to figure out a solution to stop this habit, whether that is gambling, whether that is spending too much money on alcohol. There's a whole spectrum of different things that would be considered um, bad habits to be spending all of your money on, but it's, and all of them are normal. So no one should feel like because I'm in debt, I'm an idiot, or I I'm just not good with money. No, that's not the
Yes.
case. It's just human. You find yourself in these situations
The
because you do
system.
what you feel is comfortable. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
once you identify exactly what's gotten you there and you come up with a plan for how you're going to stop doing it in an unhealthy way, then you can start coming up with a plan to start budgeting. So I would say uh, start to come up with a budget that works for you, and it's a case by case budget. So
Hmm.
I would say you separate some, probably a good portion, to put into your savings account, put in well, primarily, first of all, if you're in a lot of debt, you'll want to pay off at least the minimum payment. You don't want to miss any payments on debt that you have.
Yes.
So you want to
No
at
late
least
fees.
pay your minimum amount of debt, because you don't want your credit score to be ruined, because that's
Absolutely.
very important. So I would say to dedicate at least the minimum payment towards your debt, and then save what you can, put and then you can start deciding what your living expenses should be, how much that you should be spending on food and entertainment, etc. And you'll want to limit that entertainment budget to as little as possible until you feel more comfortable about where you are with debt.
Very well, JT. That's a very great answer. And what I got out
Thank you.
of it is, again, you're welcome. And what I got out of it is, ladies and gentlemen, it all comes down to looking inwards. If you're finding, like JT suggested, if you find yourself in debt, look inwards. Track back what caused it to get to that point. And a lot of the times, you're gonna see it's going to be the habits that
Absolutely.
we do on the small tiny habits we do on daily basis. It can actually come and become very big problems over a long term, and that's exactly what I personally got out of your answer. And this is true.
That's
Look
absolutely right.
inwards, track back how you got there. That's so true. And
And a
as
lot of
far,
times you can
yes.
start to resolve a lot of your financial issues once you deal with some of those personal struggles that you're encountering.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. JT, I have this question that it's going to backtrack a bit, but I really want to ask because we threw this word around a few times, and I always assume that the viewer watching us is someone who is new to the topic. So I always try to keep things basic and not use too
Absolutely.
many big words so we can understand one another. We're not here to impress nobody.
No,
We're here to talk and share our experience, what we do, and hopefully that'll help someone out there. So, the
for sure.
question I have for you, JT, is the following. When you said you have to hedge against inflation, what would be one of the best ways to hedge against inflation?
So everyone has, or investors in general, have different ideas of what the best way to hedge against inflation would be. And hedging
Yes.
against inflation is just basically placing a portion of your portfolio that's dedicated to
Mm,
stay secure in case that the dollar just all of a sudden loses a lot of its value due to overprinting, over accessibility, overspending to the American people, etc. So some people decide to use precious metals as a way to
mhm,
hedge against inflation. A lot of people decide to use cryptocurrency.
mhm,
There are a, there are several different ideas as to the best way
mhm,
to hedge against inflation. Personally, I use cryptocurrency
mhm,
as a way to hedge against inflation, but it's all up to that person. So once you've done that research and you feel comfortable with your decision, I would say dedicate 5% of your portfolio to, just in case something happens with the dollar, that you'll
mhm.
at least have, that safety net there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another great answer, JT. And I wanted to add a bit on top. I was actually reading Ray Dalio's book, and about Ray Dalio's investing portfolio. He does similar. He attaches your hedging against your investments and inflation based on the age you have. Let's say the younger you are, the more you can afford to take risky hedges
Hmm.
against your investment. Hence, JT is choosing cryptocurrency. Let's say you're in
Absolutely.
your 50s, 60s, and above, the best way of hedging against your inflation, and your investments would be maybe bonds and stuff like that. Say 15, 20% of your portfolio, maybe 25% 10% of your portfolio into bonds if you really want to be secure. So that's what Ray Dalio I got out of Ray Dalio's answer, the same answer that he got that I just asked you
Oh,
actually.
absolutely. Ray Dalio is brilliant. And what I will say about Ray Dalio's point is that whenever you're younger, you have a lot more room, like you said, to take
Hmm.
risks. So what's been said about the stock market is whenever you're building this portfolio, whether it's stocks, cryptos, what you want to do to be able to build wealth is actually have a concentrated portfolio. And then to be able to guard that wealth, you want to diversify as much as you can. So to build wealth, you want to have a concentrated portfolio. To guard it, you want to have a diversified portfolio. Now, to his point, what I will say about Ray Dalio is he has said some questionable things about cryptocurrency in general. He believes that we are, and I agree with him at the current time, that we are in a speculative bubble, and that will correct at some point. We are going to see a cyclical correction in cryptocurrency. But once your cryptocurrency, once your crypto portfolio goes down in value, it's time to buy more. It's not time to panic sell.
Mm-hmm.
That's dangerous. It's dangerous to see something that someone says that contradicts your opinion and allow that to dictate what happens with your portfolio. So you should never allow FUD to decide what happens with the assets that you're holding. You should just do as much research as you can prior to trying to make any decision that reflects in your portfolio. Ray Dalio makes some good points there about Bitcoin, but some of the things that he has said in the past has made me feel like he doesn't understand Bitcoin as well as some other investors. But as far as you know, his fund goes, he's absolutely brilliant. So most things that you guys hear from Ray
What is
Dalio,
it?
that's
Bridgewater, I
yes,
believe.
Bridgewater is it's
Yes.
one of the world's largest funds. So you
He has
guys,
very, very personal ties with a lot of the high elites in China. I know,
oh yeah,
because I'm very fond of Ray Dalio. I have his biography books and stuff.
he's brilliant.
Yes, and I continue to study him. And the type of a person he is too, I admire him as a family man too. Actually, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. So if you guys haven't heard of him, definitely check him out. He's a very smart guy. He just has said a few he's said a few things about Bitcoin that make me think, I'm
It's okay.
skeptical as to how much that he knows about cryptocurrency.
Right, right. And you know the saying, actually it's a bad saying. I'm not going to say it. So let's move on to David Centano's. JT is a one smart cookie. That's
Oh,
correct. Yes, he
thanks,
is.
David.
Thanks for all the good info. Check out where the Bush family has been investing their
Halliburton
Halliburton
money.
Halliburton
Ooh,
money. I'm not familiar with the
I'm not
Halliburton money.
familiar with that situation.
That's something I'll look into it.
I am familiar with the Halliburton
Hmm.
money, but I'm not I'm not informed enough to know
Halliburton.
where they're investing it.
Mm.
David, if you wouldn't mind, leave another comment or
Maybe
here,
all
let me.
three of us one day we should do podcast together and talk even more details in cryptos. I think that would be a really good conversation.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
I will check the schedule and I will let you guys know. It'll be maybe a month and a half, 2 months from now. I'll let you guys. I'll send you the dates. Let's see which dates are good for everybody. Let's put something together. All three of us get on live and talk more about investing and so on and so forth. That'll be really good if you
That
guys
would
are
be
up for
fun.
it.
I'm up
All
for
right.
it, totally.
Awesome, awesome. And David's follow-up question was, do you guys clubhouse? I do not, and I believe you need an invite for that. Do you clubhouse, JT?
I don't Clubhouse. I am aware of what it is. I haven't actually done it. I think that a lot of the interesting things that are said on Clubhouse are recorded and reposted onto YouTube and other
Hmm.
sites. So I do believe that you do need an invite to be able to use Clubhouse. Primarily, whenever I'm talking with friends or I'm talking to other people who are in the crypto or stock market space, I'll use Discord to communicate with them. So
Hmm.
that's something to look into. Is if
Discord
you
is
want
a
to
good.
stay caught up on crypto news, on news related to finance in general, find some good Discord servers to become a part of.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much, JT. JT, we're almost out of time over here. I want to ask you a follow-up question. Um, what does modeling successfully and doing it successfully means to you?
Gotcha. So, modeling success successfully to me means achieving the goals that you set for yourself. So, in order for yourself to feel successful, I believe that you need to have goals set, and everyone's goals are going to be different. Some
Hmm.
people look at finance as a goal that they've set for themselves. Some people look at experience as a goal for they've set. Travel, for instance. So, like,
Hmm.
if you believe that you need to travel to a certain amount of countries or states to feel successful, once you've done that, then you feel that level of success. I believe modeling that is representing that to your audience, to your friend group, to your family, and motivating people, showing them how you've done it, and trying to be a good role model for them and teach them. Share what knowledge that you've experienced through the years that you've been working, that they could utilize and create success in their own lives. I think that you do a great job of it, Gore, to be
Oh, well,
honest.
thank you.
I've seen how much you're outputting content, and it blows
Yes.
my mind, especially with you running the companies that you are. It's just
Yes.
mind-boggling how you can find time to create
I
for your
literally,
audience.
literally, my fiance started joking recently. She's telling me, "I'm going to put a business hours on that door that you walk into and not walk out of that," which is the office. She's talking about this, the studio and stuff. And it takes a lot, and you know that because you're putting the work too. And when you're putting the work yourself, you notice the work when someone else is putting. That's why you see
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. That's why I see it, and that's why I respect it.
Thank
You're
you.
you motivate me seeing how much that you put out. So I
Much
am
love to you,
trying to
JT.
become more uh, consistent. I think
Mhm.
that's key. Consistency,
Yes.
determination. I think these are all very keys. These are all keys to becoming successful, is just
Mhm.
staying consistent and trying to maintain that same quality and focus and drive, and seeing other people do it, surrounding yourself with people that you see as successful, or that are consistent themselves.
Mhm.
That can give you a lot of insight into how you
Mhm.
could improve yourself, and that's what I try to do.
Absolutely. And hence why the name Modeling Success Successfully, everything based around not me, but the greats that are around me. And I want to highlight them. I want to bring them over so they can teach the entire world. And it's a bonus. I get to learn too. What else I can't ask for more, you know? That's basically how the everything is set up. I used to have a previous personal channel. That one was based around me mainly, and me teaching how to do this, how to do that. And I've realized that people don't like being told what to do. People really want to know what you're doing. So I'm like, okay, I'll start telling what I'm doing. So that's pretty much the major shift with this new page. And let's see, David had a follow up. Said the Bush have been buying up land that contains fresh water
Ah,
sources. That's
that's
awesome.
fascinating. That's good to know.
Yes, and then hit me up on Instagram and I'll give you an invite to Clubhouse. I would love to get together to talk more. Hey, David, JT and I,
I'd be
we're
down.
ready to go. There we go. And I would love to join that over there also and check that out. So I will go ahead and reach out to you on Instagram. And JT, David, whoever gets a chance, you guys follow each other too.
Yeah,
We seem to be
absolutely.
vibing good together. And I'm not sure if I'm subscribed to you yet, JT, but I'm gonna make sure that I'm subscribed to you as well. You guys
Awesome.
should get connected on Instagram and as well as YouTube too. You know
Yes.
how the saying goes: high tide raises all boats. So why
Oh
don't we
yeah.
raise the tide together?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So other than that, JT, what I want you to do right now is I want you to tell our audience where they can connect with you on your social platforms, please.
For sure. So, if you guys wouldn't mind, if you enjoyed what you heard on this podcast, check out my YouTube channel. It is Investments and Refreshments. If you type that into the search bar, it's the first channel that pops up. You can watch a few of my videos. If you enjoy what you see, please hit subscribe, maybe hit that notification bell icon so that you're updated whenever I post. Hit the like button. And then if you want to follow more content, you can go to my Instagram. It's Investments and Refreshments. And you can follow me there. And I post pretty much daily content, at least on my story each day. But I would definitely appreciate to hear from you guys on my channel. I try and make it an open forum, so my any questions that my audience asks, I try and address in another video that I post. So that's kind of that's the atmosphere that I try and build for my channel.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, JT. I appreciate you. David gave a thumbs up. David said, JT, I'm going to sub your YouTube channel today. There we go. So
Awesome.
then
I'll sub you too, David.
There we go. We got one another. I'm sure we're linking up, and it's all about creating the network, because network creates everything. It makes the dream work. That's what it is. I remixed the Walt Disney saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
Network makes the dream work. That's true.
So there you go. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for taking the time on a Sunday afternoon to be here live with us. David Santano, big shout out to you, brother. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for asking the amazing questions. And thank you for all the likes, you guys. If you guys are watching this afterwards as a video format, please go ahead and like and share so more people can get to know these amazing individuals who bring nothing but positivity, and they leave the place better than they found it. This is how our guests are, and this is how JT is, this is how David is, this is how I am, which is why we bring like-minded individuals from all over the world. And it all thanks to the US Army for making the internet and then making it public for us to use it.
Yes.
So there's that too. And to those of you that are listening to us, if you guys like to be a guest on our podcast, feel free to email to modelingsuccesssuccessfully@gmail.com and put a subject podcast, and in the body section, let us know what you do, why you would like to be a guest, and what you have to offer to the world, and we'll take it from there. And other than that, JT, any last words or any questions you would like to ask me or anyone?
Well, I was just gonna see if you wanted to maybe review this beer with me.
Awesome. I've never done a beer review, so why don't you carry on? Why don't you lead the way, please?
So I would say, after drinking this myself, I don't know about you, but this thing is delicious. It's really smooth, refreshing. I'll be buying more of these for sure. It's the Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA. And you can definitely appreciate the tropical juices, the flavor there. It's not too bitter. It's really sweet for an IPA. And at 6.8% ABV, I believe. 6.7% ABV.
Yep. What does ABV stand for?
Alcohol by volume. So it's actually very tame for something so high in ABV. It's really smooth. So I'm going to give this thing actually 4.9 out of 5. This is delicious. And I'll be buying more of these. What do you think about it, Gore? I want to hear your opinion.
My personal opinion, first of all, anytime I see a blonde beer, that's already a positive note to me, because I cannot go with the dark beers. The only dark beer I drink is Guinness, and that's only when my taste buds are not there anymore, so that I don't feel it too much. But the blonde beers, specifically, that's full of flavor in there. In the beginning, I kind of get a little hint of the peel of the grapefruit, the outer layer, not the inside. And then afterwards, you get this feeling of little fulfillment of, I don't want to say wood, because it's not woody oaky taste, but it's desserty, kind of like you bite into a dessert, it's full of texture. So this blonde beer, a lot of people think blonde beer would be light, but this one is actually full of texture and blonde.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
it
full
fin-
for sure.
yeah, and it
It's full
finishes up
bodied.
with exactly, and finishes up with a nice undertone of a light. It's not really bitter. It's bitter mixed with. It's like grapefruit bitter, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
And if I were to rate it on a scale of 0 to 5, I honestly would give it. It would be right up with, I would say, 4.6, 4.7 around there, just because it has that bitter undertone. If I were to take a few elements away, I would take the bitter undertone away, and I would leave everything else. That's my personal opinion. So if
Gotcha.
you, yeah, if you would take the bitterness away, it would be straight 5 for me.
Awesome. Well, those are some good scores for this beer. So I would
Yes,
say if you guys are watching this, you might consider checking this thing out. Remember though, to only drink responsibly and only invest responsibly as well.
absolutely. And you have to be at the legal age to do this. You always have
Yes.
to be responsible. We're not, this is not an advertisement for Sierra Nevada little thing
Not
hazy
sponsored.
IPA. Not
No.
at all. But if you guys like it to be sponsored, go ahead and reach out to JT. If you like me to be in it too, JT will let me know. But go ahead and reach out to JT Sierra Nevada if you like it to be responsible, because this individual right there just did a big favor to you guys. So other than that, thank you guys very much. JT, I appreciate your time, brother. It's such a
Thanks so much,
pleasure
Corey.
knowing you.
This was a
We're
pleasure.
gonna, yes, we're gonna get together. Does Instagram allow group chat or no?
Yeah,
Oh, then we
definitely.
should create a group chat between you and I and David and take it
Yeah,
from there.
for sure.
Awesome, you guys. Very, very good. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have a great rest of the Sunday. JT, pleasure meeting you. Again, you have a
Pleasure meeting
great
you.
rest of your day, brother. Thank you so, so much. We'll speak again soon. This is the channel for modeling success successfully, and this is the podcast that we bring you every Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Bye bye.